Hello, everyone. And I'm very excited today for this episode of our What Moves Her podcast. I'm actually more than excited. I'm thrilled to welcome a friend, a woman that I've admired for many years, who has done and continues to do great things, Miss Carmen Chong, who, well, we'll get into who you are and what you do. Carmen, thank you so much for being on today. It's an honor, really, it is.
It's truly an honor for me. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Sherry.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We've got a lot of unpacking to do, a lot to dig into the Asian Real Estate Association, the Global Real Estate Alliance, but also you. And so I want to start with you. And your background is astounding, actually. I really, until I got to know you, had no idea. And so I'd like you to share a little bit about that because it really, gives me chills.
Well, Sherry, many people don't know much about me, just the closest, just because I'm always out there cheerful, going to different conferences, meeting people. But my background was of maybe of many of the immigrants here that had come to the United States. I actually was born in Nicaragua. And I was almost gonna say how old I was.
No, no,
In
no,
what
we don't
year?
have to put it. Don't do that. Yeah. There's ways, there are ways that when
Yes,
people are doing an interview, they can trick you into,
I
that
know
I'm
it.
not going to do
So
that.
I was
So,
born
yes.
in Nicaragua, raised and was there for many years. And I came here when I was a teenager during the Civil War.
During the Civil War.
Yes.
And so Nicaragua is in Central America. And
Yes.
so I didn't know that until recently because, of course, I would have thought that you were born and raised somewhere else.
Yes. So Nicaragua was during that time. Oh, there's many Asians around the world. And of course, Nicaragua has their own little percentage of Asians, basically Cantonese, and my great grandfather was there many years before that, and by God's blessing, I was born in Nicaragua, which to me is an advantage because then I know the culture and I know the language and I speak very well Spanish. And then my second language was, of course, Cantonese and, of course, English as I immigrated here to the United States.
So we could have started today by saying hola.
Hola, ¿cómo están todos?
Yeah. So let's talk, if you don't mind, a little bit about the Civil War period, because that was a difficult time, I know.
Yeah, it was very difficult, especially for those who have worked very hard to have a business or to. Back in the days, my parents had a restaurant, had a retail shop, and it was just again, it's always a fight about power, about freedom, and then the regular people, of course, get caught in between, right? My mom, at that time, we were all gonna immigrate to the United States at that young age, and but what happened is that my mother decided to stay behind with my younger siblings, and only send me off with my older brother and myself. Just imagine two teenagers not knowing where we're going to be at and not having any communication. So it was a time where I just decided to, not decided, but by chance, it's just automatically you had to grow up, you had to mature. And I guess that really helped me actually to be who I am today, to go through those hardships of not having your family close to you. So you tend to do that. And even though I have my older brother, I was the bigger sister for him.
Of course you were, because you
Yeah.
have natural leadership abilities. And so you came to the United States, and where did you arrive? In California at that time?
Yeah, so my parents had friends in California, two friends actually, two family friends, and then we landed in San Francisco. That was a journey of about a month, before we were able to leave the country because we had to get the visa out. My parents were very close friends to those people that were able to do that. We were actually in the last plane to leave Nicaragua, to leave Managua. And so we were living in a city, which is about an hour and a half to the capital or where the airport was. So imagine that, driving to go there with the chances that something may happen or may stop us, right? We were given home to stay for about a month, and then finally we were in the last plane to get out of the country. And that was not to our destination. It went into Salvador, and then from Salvador we went to Guatemala, and then Guatemala we went to San Francisco, California. And then just something that I share is like coming to a unknown country. I found myself, Sherry, looking out the window of the plane, thinking, what it would be for me as a young person, a teenager, and what's awaiting for me. And it's just a lot of emotions going through. But the very first thing is to thank God, of course, and then pray that my family were gonna be okay.
And your family was okay.
And my family was okay. And after 6 months of no communication whatsoever, we heard from them. Actually, they did have to transport them into Costa Rica. So now they live in Costa Rica. And little by little, my siblings came to the United States. I sponsored them, and I have 2 of my siblings with me. One of them is in Seattle, and the other one is still in Costa Rica. She married and have kids.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
nice. And
Yeah.
do you ever go there? Do you go back at all?
Yeah, well, to go back, I have gone to Costa Rica various times to go and see my parents at that time. But that was after several years. It was almost about 15 years that we were not able to see each other until I got married. Oh, is it 15? Maybe even later. And then, but Nicaragua only went there one time. I wanted to go back to my country to see where my house was and everything. And I just feel this sadness inside of me. But I see a country that wants to grow to get out of that. But it's just, as any countries that goes through that, it's just very challenging, I guess. But it was nice to go back and see, and I hope to go back again.
Well, hopefully you will. And, now your life is here. And it's an incredible story. And I can't imagine what you
Mhm.
went through. But really, as you said, it kind of created the foundation for the leader that you are today. And so let's talk about your career in real estate and how all of that started in the Bay Area.
Yeah, so went to school, Washington High School, University, San Francisco State. Got into graduating accounting. Business administration, concentration in accounting, because I knew that as soon as I get out of the school, I have to find a job, right? Remember, I don't have my family who take care of me. My godmother and this family that I was telling you about earlier took us in without hesitation. 2 teenagers share the bed of their daughter and son, share their food, share the warmth, and it was something that I needed to help out, with the expenses of the house. So I definitely decided to go for that. They always need accountants. And then a few years later, I met some great friends. One of my very best friend, Jasmine, she said they were looking for a loan officer that spoke different languages. And that's how I got into the mortgage business, because they were just starting a program for what we call a mortgage consultant. And, most people would come to the branch to talk about mortgages, but they didn't have experts in there. There were there were retail loan officers out there to help the real estate agents, but not to the clients that walks into the branch. So I was one of the pioneers for the branch mortgage consultant for 5 different offices, and that's how I got started into the business. And slowly I They pulled me in to be at their business. Actually, the minute I got into the bank, 3 months later, my friend moved out and opened a new business in the wholesale side of the lending. And they left me there for 3 years for me to learn. And then after that, they called me in. You know what? The Hispanic community is starting to buy homes, and we definitely need to have someone that spoke that language. So I went with them 3 years after that. And then a few years later, I decided to open my own business with my younger brother, who came afterwards when I got married. And yeah, I started my own business in the lending business in 2006. 2006.
Wow. So
Okay. Got my
2006.
mhm.
Yes. And that was like 2 years before the financial crisis that we went through, right? Which was
Yes. Who wouldn't
2008.
know, right? Everything looks so well. I mean, we're not that many people. There's only a team of four in my company, and 2 years later, see what happened. Everything just closed down on me.
I
Every
know.
single bank was just closing, closing, closing. And
Wow.
uh, it was devastating because I have a lease. I have, a staff that I had to pay, and I also have to pay the expenses of the office. So it was just an incredible time. Another, I guess,
Another challenge that you had to go through.
that I had to go
Yes.
through besides that. And guess what, Sherry? I mean, I don't know how and what I heard about AREAA that they were having a national convention.
Wow. And
And
that is, and that was after 2008. And, I uh, kind of in a parallel path launched Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate for our parent company Anywhere, July 23rd, 2008. So I was, on top of the world. And then suddenly, 2 months later, everything came crashing down. But guess what? We all survive and we find ways to survive. And so, with the Asian Real Estate Association, when did you and I first meet? Like, I think it might have been around 2010.
Yes, yes, because at that time I was just a member, just attending
Mhm.
a national convention, and I loved the culture so much. I felt like a family there. And little by little, I just started to getting to, well, wanted to be more involved. And then one day, the leadership called me and asked me to start a new chapter at that time. And in 2010, that's when I founded the San Francisco Peninsula Chapter. So I think that because of that, it allowed me to come to some of the leadership receptions and events. And that's why you were there. And that's how we met
And
for the first time.
I know. And, one of my early events in San Francisco was during the convention and the Edge reception at a
Mm-hmm.
this cocktail lounge, and I sponsored it for Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. I don't know whether you remember that or not.
you know, uh, let me tell you, Sherry, Aria thanks you for all your sponsorship, your
Thank you.
support to the organization. Definitely, without you and, uh, you just help us to move a little step further to achieve our mission. So thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you. Thank you for saying that. It's such
Mhm.
a fantastic organization, and I just, I just fell in love with ARIA and what everyone was doing, and so that's really when you and I met first.
Mhm.
But you weren't going to stop at that, were you? You
You
and
you know what they say, Sherry? You drink the Aria Kool-Aid. Once you drink it, you cannot leave. I mean, I
I
think
agree.
I did. Yeah. I mean, as someone that came from another country, started her own business, you think that that was enough, right? Starting your own business, but I think that people should know that you have to align yourself with something bigger than you, right? Be able to also give back. And when they asked me to open to start the chapter in San Francisco, I thought that was quite a challenge, right? But it was So, Reese, it was easy because you want to do it. You have the passion to do it. And don't do it because, oh, okay, I'm going to get a title. It was more about giving. How can I help? Because of the feeling that I received when I came to the very first national convention. So I didn't stop there, like I said. It was my next thing was to become the I was elected as a 2015 national chairwoman. At that time, we will still be called chairwoman. Today, now it's called presidency. They actually changed that title in 2016, right after Vicky Silvano. So she was the
Okay.
last chairwoman, and then right after that, it was Angie Lee. She
Yes.
became the first youngest president
Yes. Yes.
yeah, of AREAA. So
And, it was really like 3 women in a row as
I
national
know.
president.
Oh,
So,
strong women. Mm-hmm.
yes, 3 strong women. And what that's one of the things that I really like about ARIA is
Mm-hmm.
that they, promote women into higher roles and really embrace and are very inclusive as to female leaders, which is fantastic. So, you were paving the way for others, certainly. And
Mm-hmm.
I, commend you for that. And, one of the things about you as a leader, and I want to talk a little bit about this is that are so down to earth. You have empathy. You understand what others are going through, and maybe it's because of what you went through yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But and you're also a doer. Really like roll up the shirt sleeves and
Wow.
not delegate to others, but do. So, is that how it's always been for you?
Yeah, because I feel that I think that my mom basically taught me that, right? It's a hard work. Well, I always had to help out in the restaurant or in the store, and I wasn't like the owner's daughter that just give orders. I want to order this for my food and stuff like that. So because I saw her and I saw my dad working very hard, so they gave me that. How you say?
Good work ethic, we call it.
Right, good work
Mhm.
ethic, and then from there, being on my own too with my older brother, and I have to continue to work. I was staying in a household that was not mine. I had to do the dishes. I had to see how I can help with whatever I can. So I think that came from the beginnings, Sherry, and that starting the chapter is not that easy either. If a president doesn't just give
Doesn't
orders,
just
I mean.
happen, Carmen. Things don't just happen.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes on and on and on. And then I think that if you do it, then you inspire others to also elevate themselves and do it and help you, right? So that's definitely what have given me to have that work ethic to continue to do that, even until today. I don't have to, but I still do it. And even if sometimes it's not your responsibility, you gotta do it so that others can see, right? And then
No,
follow.
I love that about you, and,
Mhm.
even today, and, now, of course, you weren't finished with that, you had to keep going and,
No,
and launch, along with Mr. Alan Chang, who is a wonderful colleague of yours and
yes,
friend of both of
yeah,
ours,
yes.
the Global Real Estate Alliance, which is really an offshoot, a totally separate entity now
Uh-huh.
of the Asian Real Estate Association of America. And so I want to ask you if you can just tell everyone a little bit about this, and then you and I are going to talk about our recent adventure together.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So, AREA, National Asian Real Estate Association of America, is for advocacy for the API community to promote sustainable homeownership. And AREA Global, as many of you might know, actually was started with from a vision that Mr. Alan Chen had because a lot of our members was asking to how can we expand our business globally? Can you help us? And then so Alan did that, with Jim Park. And all these years, this was actually started since 2010 or 2011. And then in 2016, after my year, they pulled me in to be one of the board directors. But it is something that we're going to unveil at the National Convention. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how different it will be this is now a separate entity where we can do business more freely as it was meant to be, right? And there's so many things. And I also want to thank you, Sherry, for coming and giving us to become our advisory board, because we do need to align ourselves with, great, strong, powerful people that can help us elevate this. And at the end of the day, it's for the goodness of our membership, right? And
Yes.
expand it to out there to other associations. Definitely being a separate entity, we can expand it to all the other organization, other real estate company, or something that I don't think it's out there yet. And we're still trying to put it together. So please just be part of it and see how we're going to elevate this Global Real Estate Alliance, which is the vision that Alan have. I'm just, doing what he asked me to do. Sherry, that's how it is. Alan, he just said, Carmen,
I
do
know.
this. Carmen, do that.
I know. I know.
But I have a great board of directors, definitely top professionals in their field, architects, commercial,
Yes.
right? I mean, luxury. And so I think that we're in good shape. Well,
Well, I think we are, and I'm thrilled and honored to be a part of it. And so, as we close here, I want to talk about our recent trip together
yes,
to Vietnam and Cambodia first.
yeah, one of the things
And,
that we did too.
and that might entice more people to want to join this new entity now, which has really
Yeah.
been in existence
So
in a
there's
different
four,
way.
right? So there's four things. There's four pillars, and one of them is the up close trip that you went, and then
Yes.
also our global summit called the Passport Global that now goes into different countries. We started with Mexico. Now early this year was Vietnam, and we added that trip to Cambodia. And you were the first one to come. You said, "I'm signing up." I said, "Oh my God!"
It
I was
was
so happy.
wonderful.
So, what did you think? How
I
did you
I loved it, and here's what was great about it. Many things were great, but it was, an intimate group of true professionals who did everything they could to make it the best experience ever, including the sponsorship, the attention
feel?
to detail,
Mhm.
the everything. Even when I had trouble getting into Vietnam because of something to do with my name was wrong on my visa, but we all made it happen and together, and it was an incredible trip. And,
Mhm.
it really made me think about the fact that real estate is global, it's local and global, and more people today are, looking around the world to invest in real estate, and we
Mhm.
have to bring everyone together. So, thank you for including me in that incredible
It was
experience,
a
both
pleasure.
personally and professionally. Of course, we can't tell everything that we did there.
No, it does. You have to come in order for you to experience that because it's something out of the norm. There's many trade missions going out and everything, but nothing like the way that we do it, right, Sherry? I mean,
Right,
AREA
Carmen. Yeah.
Global now, or Global Real Estate Alliance, makes sure that when you come, when you take that plane, then we'll take care of everything the minute that you land into that new country and all the experiences that you get, the culture, the business, and the people. At
And the
the end of the
people.
day, I think the people, it's just amazing how much you can learn and how much you can also expand your business by building these relationships. I mean, you cannot stay
Exactly.
behind. You cannot stay at home, you guys. You got to travel with Global Real Estate Alliance.
I think you're going to get a lot of after this podcast airs, we're going to get a lot of people interested and wanting to go to the next one. And I will say that it was such an experience for me, both personally and professionally. And
Okay.
it looks like this year we might be going to Japan
Yeah.
next year.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Next year, we're planning right now to go to Japan because that's where it seems like the real estate is moving. Yeah. And all that. So we're putting all this in together, having a few challenges on the pricing and the being that it is the blossom, time or the people are
Yes.
leaving. So just stay tuned. Definitely go to our Facebook and look for us, Aria Global or Global Real Estate Alliance, and
And
find out more.
join.
Join or
Yes.
come to our national convention. Yeah, that's
Yes.
coming right up in October 24 to 26. So definitely
And
look forward to
absolutely.
you guys.
It'll be fabulous. And So, Carmen Chong, I want to say thank you for your leadership, for your friendship, for everything that you do, and for sharing your story today. So,
And
a big heart to you too.
yeah, big heart. Thank you so much, Sherry. Looking forward to seeing you next time at the National Convention. Yes?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.